So I'm going to ask now if Dr. Kabid and Dr. Decker will join me here on the stage. Henceforth, I will be referring to them as Kevin and Cass. Okay? I'm going to stand off to the side and let them share the microphone. So you've already heard a bit about the background of today's service. We're going to be learning about the libraries for Ethiopia Foundation, and going to be kind of just an informal conversation. And I'm actually want to start with Kevin because we talked a little bit at the first service about our first experiences with books, and I want Cass to follow you, but you've come a long way due to the result of reading in your life, in your career, in your passions, and so I want you to, if you don't mind, let the folks here know a bit about your story, your connection with reading.
Yes. Well, thanks for coming today, and thank you, Todd. Unlike Dr. Eckloff, my first book was not the Amityville Horror. We learned at the 9:15 service. Jacob, how are you doing, man? Jacob was our artist in residence last year for the Gender, Women's, and Sexuality Studies program at Eastern, which I was happy to interim direct, and he was our man. It's good to see you. Like many of you, I'm a first-generation college student, and I didn't grow up in a house full of books, but I was lucky to be at more or less the center of a triangle, not the Bermuda Triangle, but a triangle of 3 public libraries in St. Louis where I grew up that I could bike to. And occasionally I would go to one library and be like, I'm not finding what I came here for today. So I would bike 5 miles to the next one. I don't think there were any Saturdays where I hit all 3. But one of the things that I remember being great for me in terms of growing up with good libraries was a summer reading club. Did anybody do summer reading club when you were a kid? Yeah, I mean, I think they still do it. It was like a 6 or 7 week program, and like after 4 days I was done. And of course the toughest thing about it was you had to read something from every section of the Dewey Decimal System. And once we got to business and crafts, that was kind of like, I don't know what I'm going to read for this. But when Cass asked me and some other fellow faculty members at Eastern to be involved with life and to eventually be on the board of directors, I said, I have to do this. There's no doubt in my mind I have to do this because I don't even know who those librarians were that helped me out with the summer reading club or helped me find the latest Alfred Hitchcock and the 3 Investigators mystery, but I owe them everything. And so we're going to try to pay that back a little bit through this project. Thanks.
Great, thank you very much. Well, I mean, it's kind of interesting, right? In your story, there's a little bit of a hint of, like the term things we have to read. So as kids, it's like, do I really have to read? Yeah, you have to read. It's good for you. It can become kind of a burden to have to read if you're not really into reading. But compared to Cass's experience in Ethiopia, where there really literally is a book famine. I mean, that's the term you use. So explain to us a little bit about your childhood experiences with books so that we understand what has brought you here to this point today.
Good morning. Thank you so much for inviting me, for supporting libraries for Ethiopia. And I'm so jealous that Kevin has to bike between 3 libraries. I don't remember I had one. My experience with book was a little bit.
You want an image up there?
Maybe it's a traumatic experience. I remember there were a lot of textbooks at my school, but no reading for fun. So one time, teacher, actually go a little bit back. The government built school nearby, so sending your kids to school was compulsory. That the government wants you to hey, you have to send your kids to school. That's how I ended up in school, because they were literally forcing people to send their kids. Because according to the government, illiteracy is walking in the dark. That's the motto they had. So one day, the teacher really liked me and gave me a book, her only book, and I really felt honored. Felt really oh, must be a very good student. And then I took it home, and I showed it to my mom. My mom was so happy. She gave you a book? Yeah, you should. I should read it. And I read. I was just reading it in the evening. She gave me coffee, and then the coffee spilled on it. And I wanted someone to illustrate it for me. I was just writing children's books with my friend, and that's the closest they can make. So I was terrified to go back. And I said, I'm going to be kicked out of school. The teacher's not going to trust me again. It's going to be over. But I told my mom that school was on recess. And she said she believed me until she didn't. Because she saw kids going to school. And I said, well, is that your only school that's on class was on recess? And then she found out that I damaged teacher's book, and then she said, go to school and face the music. And I went and told my teacher what really happened. And the one thing I remember that echoed in my mind was, you have to pay for it. And I had to work to pay for it. And then the book is gone, the money is gone. That is just my experience with books.
So you had to share. The classroom basically had one book that had to be shared.
Yeah.
You took it home, and it was a tremendous responsibility for you to have a book with you.
Yeah.
You messed it up with a cup of coffee, but just the anxiety that you then had.
Yeah,
enough
trauma,
to where you were skipping school.
Yeah.
You told your mom a lie, and then she forgave you, right?
Yeah.
She forgave you, and then you had to work to pay for the book.
Yeah.
Now that is quite a different experience than any of us have had. So this leads. So I want to just get a little more about your life first, though. So how did you go from having a book famine in your childhood to ending up being a professor at Eastern Washington University?
I think a lot of things have to work together. One of the biggest things that really helped me was the construction of a high school in my town by, I think it's a Swedish charity. They came and built a school, which really minimized the cost of going to school. It was really a beautiful high school that they built. And when I went back, it wasn't really maintained. I had a picture I wanted to share, but I couldn't. That, and then, of course, my teachers really believed in me. That's why I think I was a little bit more talkative, and I think that's why I became a sociologist. That was so helping me. They were so encouraging. It's always someone has to believe in you, and then they say, hey, you can do it. Yeah, I think you should, and I was the first to really graduate from college, from my family. So yeah, it's a lot of things. It's almost, to put it in perspective, it's almost impossible that, when people are asking me, how did you do it? And I didn't. I think that God helped me. I think that's how I would put it.
Yeah. So quite an extraordinary situation to go from a place that was largely illiterate. And tell us a little bit about your community, because we should understand that this is not a small village where you would expect there wouldn't be a library, right? There's a very large population in the city that you grew up in.
Yeah, I think over the last, to give you a perspective, this time reminds me of the time when I came to the U.S. I came to the U.S. in 2004 for graduate studies at upstate New York, Syracuse University. So it's been almost 20 years. When I went back after like 9 years, the population increased. Now it's about 150,000 people, which is about 35 to 40 miles north of the capital, but they have no access to books.
No access to books. To this day, no access
Yeah,
to
to
books.
access books, that no libraries. And I mean, it's really hard. It's a miracle that people can at least, there are about 24,000 students. When I was a high school senior, there were only 18 students in my class.
Wow.
So population doubled, probably tripled
So
over the last 20 years.
So you've got all of those students, and they may have access to some textbooks,
Yeah.
but not pleasure reading, not the books that inspire them to read,
Yeah.
the sort of things that we take for granted here.
Yeah.
So you were back there after about 9 years.
Yeah.
And what was it that inspired you to say, I want to do something about this?
The coffee spill. So I went to my school and then I started talking to kids. Do you read books? What kind of? Because here in the U.S., I have 2 kids, and we have plenty of books. Like that's the one thing, a great thing about this country. We have books everywhere, right? Like in the car, sometimes in the bed, and quite literally everywhere. If you want to read, the books are available. So I went back and asked them, and the questions like, "What is your favorite book?" was almost a strange question. And textbooks are shared among 4 kids because population increasing. I was asking the teacher, like, do you have even textbooks? And textbooks are shared between about like 3, 4, 5 kids. And then the most effective way, we were like talking, is to create this democratic place, like a library where people can come regardless of whatever they believe in. They can come and read books. That's what inspired me. This is like, we can't give everyone books, but we can create a space where kids can come and read. Really cost effective and sustainable. And then I talked to the mayor, and I said, hey, I was thinking about building a library. Can you give me land? And then he said, yes, are you sure? And then he gave me land, and I came to the U.S. to raise funds. I hoped that people are gonna really donate to my story. Right? So it wasn't, people have to trust you first. It didn't work. So we're humbled. So I raised about $5,000. I went back. I don't think I'll be able to build a library. Do you have a building that I can, I think I have an image of a building that I can use. And he said, that building, he took me that, hey, you can renovate that. They're using it for meetings and other things. So he gave me that building, if you can renovate it and make it a library. And I said, sure, I can. I think $5,000 went really long distance. I know the next slide will show you the inside of that building. It's kind of a video, actually. If you really click on it, it will give you a view of the inside of the library before renovation. Okay. All right. And it's not professional video. I just took it with my cell phone. So the next video, the next slide will show you how far $5,000 can go. This is the exact same place that we renovated.
Wow.
So it really looks beautiful. But as you can see,
no books.
No books. It's
No
empty.
furniture.
Yeah, no furniture. That's exactly what we're trying to do at the moment, to make sure that that place has books. First, chairs and tables, real chairs and tables, books, And then after we get books, maybe computers, right? It's gross.
And internet.
Yeah, internet. Well, that would be amazing if they get internet. I was actually collecting iPads from people, so that the kids can get connected. There are a lot of reading materials online through YouTube that they can read, right?
So the kids are learning at school right now don't have access to the internet.
No, only 15% of, I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse, 15 to 20% of Ethiopians have access to internet.
So this is a huge, this
huge,
will be a game changer
yes.
for the lives of the children in this community of 150,000 people.
Yeah, at least for like 24,000 kids going to school. Mm-hmm. There are like 4 high schools in the area. So it really grew, population really grew significantly over the past 20 years.
And so not getting too far past the immediate need, you do have a vision for taking this throughout the country, right? Being able to take this libraries for Ethiopia elsewhere.
Absolutely. That's how the hope, the dream is. I'm starting to call it reading rooms instead of, because it scares people when you tell them, hey, I'm going to build a library. Maybe like if you minimize and say, hey, it's going to be a reading room, and it doesn't have to be fancy. A place where kids can just come and read and go home, maybe get access to internet, and then they thrive. It's because of books that I am where I am. So that's, I think, the dream.
So then let's talk quickly about the language issue too, because there's not a lot of books necessarily published in the languages that they speak. So you're getting some help from an organization in Seattle.
There's an amazing person I met on LinkedIn. So I was Googling on LinkedIn. One of the things she does is publish books in Ethiopian languages for children. That's why I call it on my, I don't know if they have access, they got my pamphlet, that she publishes Ready, Set, Go books in Ethiopian languages. And then it costs like about $4 to get a book. She said, if you get a space, then I can provide books for you. Right, so for $4, it would be, now we have books. What we don't have is the resource to get those books.
And the resource really is a financial resource, strictly because, as you mentioned at the first service, books are so heavy, book donations just aren't going to work.
Yeah.
For one thing, they're probably in the wrong language, and secondly, it costs a lot of money to ship those books overseas. So you need the money to purchase them from the person who can translate them.
Yes, she also publishes those books in Ethiopian languages, Ethiopian cultures, and everything. So it's really culturally appropriate for the community. But it would be great. Every book, it's amazing to get these books. It doesn't even matter if it's in English. The challenge is the cost of sending these books, and they get stuck in custom. The government's like, what are you guys bringing into the country? It might take a year to get those books to children. Mm-hmm. It would have been great. There are a lot of children's books. People come to me and say, hey, I have books for you. And I'm like, yes, I love those books, but how do I get them to the community?
Yeah. I want to jump back over to Kevin real quick and ask again a question I asked you during our first service, because you were the one who sort of got the bright idea of approaching the Unitarians. Of course, because you have such great familiarity with this church. But what is it about us that you said, these are the people I trust, we need to go to, and they will be open to our message?
Well, as you may know, we're having a fundraising dinner here this Friday night at 6 o'clock. We have previously, for the Life Foundation, had a fundraiser at St. Stephen's on the South Hill. And I know you guys, you're like, if you hear the Episcopalians can do it, what's stopping us, right? I also mentioned at the first service that The reason why this is a home for me and why I feel like I kind of know a lot of you out there is you don't have just one reason to support something like this. I think you have probably many reasons, whether that's fostering the kind of democracy and equality that comes about as a result of having a literate population. As Cass said, being able to be on the internet may not be good for that literate population, but we're gonna try. And I also want to say that I really have put my money where my mouth is with this foundation, because when Cass first recruited me, I said, we must find some money for 15 computers. Yeah. And so I dug deeply into my pocket, got out my phone and called my mother, and she wrote a check. Anyway, I'm very happy that my mother is supported, and I hope that maybe you will too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very well put. So Kevin alluded to, we have some opportunities to contribute to this. One is, again, the dinner that is happening at 6 o'clock this coming Friday the 19th, an Ethiopian dinner, $25 a plate. So please put that on your calendar if you can. The following Sunday, that is next Sunday, will be our third Sunday, and we take up a special collection. So this will be the cause that we will support in our community next Sunday. You can go online and contribute as well anytime. If you want to contribute something today, just give it to me. I'll put it in my pocket and add it to the special collection next week. Somebody did that, and Cass said, "Here, take this and add it to the whole thing." So, so those are the ways that we can contribute. And I feel humbled that you both would think of us to come and share your stories and your passion and your mission with us, because this absolutely is something that we, as people who care about others in our world and care about our community, I know will want to be supportive of. And just the example that you have given, somebody who, born into a world where books were so scarce, to recognize this is something that you can make a difference, a real difference for, in not only the lives of that small community, but perhaps the whole country at some point, is an inspiration. And we thank you for what the Life Foundation is doing in our community and doing in our world, and for giving us an opportunity to be part of it. So thank you both so much.